To the latest on this cyber attack that's forced thousands of Rhode Islanders to pivot and make sure they can protect their personal information.
Institute for Cybersecurity and Emerging Technology.
And these cadets are already being drilled in applied algebra.
You wake up one morning and nothing works. Your lights are out, your phone has no signal, and as you check the news, chaos is unfolding globally. No soldiers are invading, there are no tanks, jets, or bombs. Instead, this war is being fought through invisible networks, with a battlefield woven through the digital fabric that powers our modern world. A few keystrokes, a cleverly engineered virus, and governments, economies, and entire infrastructures could grind to a halt. This is the age of cyber warfare, where a single line of code can be more destructive than a missile strike. Now here's the real question. Are we prepared for the escalation of cyber warfare? In today's video, we'll uncover why it's not just a matter of if the next major cyber assault will happen, but when. This invisible war is already happening, and the clock is ticking for us to act before the next digital catastrophe strikes. Let's dive in. Cyber warfare has completely redefined modern conflict. In the past, wars were fought with armies clashing on battlefields, tanks rolling through cities, and planes soaring overhead. But today, state-sponsored aggression is executed through digital weapons that target a nation's most critical infrastructures. Imagine this. Instead of tanks entering a city, a cyber attack could disrupt the electricity grid, leaving millions in the dark, or worse, disabling military systems before a physical attack even begins. What makes cyber warfare unique is the battlefield itself. It's entirely digital. The weapons are not bullets or bombs, but viruses, malware, and sophisticated hacking techniques. These attacks infiltrate systems, causing widespread disruption to everything from power grids and transportation systems to financial markets and healthcare networks. Imagine the ripple effect of a cyber attack that brings down a major hospital network, paralyzing life-saving medical care. Cyber warfare is also fundamentally different from cybercrime, though the two may look similar on the surface. While cybercrime is motivated by financial gain, hackers stealing data or ransoming files, cyber warfare is driven by political and strategic goals. The objective isn't money, it's about weakening, destabilizing, or strategically crippling a country. It's about shaking public confidence in their government's ability to protect them, and creating long-lasting damage to critical systems. As of 2024, cyber warfare is not a distant threat. It's already happening, with more frequency, sophistication, and destructiveness than ever before. State actors like Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, and even non-state groups are using digital attacks to achieve geopolitical goals. Let's explore some key examples that illustrate how these actors are reshaping global conflict. Take Russia, for instance. During their 2022 invasion of Ukraine, Russia didn't just rely on traditional military forces. Cyber attacks played a critical role in paralyzing Ukraine's government and military communications. The attacks on Ukraine's power grids left hundreds of thousands of people without electricity, creating panic and confusion, proof that cyber weapons can be just as devastating as physical ones. But Russia isn't the only player. In the Middle East, Iran and Israel have been engaged in a long-standing cyber conflict, with critical infrastructure like water supplies and ports becoming prime targets. Imagine waking up one morning to find your country's water system shut down, not by bombs or missiles, but by hackers sitting thousands of miles away. Even non-state actors like North Korea's Lazarus Group have used cyber attacks for both political and financial gain. The infamous 2014 Sony Pictures hack was just a glimpse into their capabilities, but in 2024, they are targeting far more critical sectors, including financial institutions and cryptocurrency exchanges, destabilizing global markets. The reality is, no one is immune. The world's most powerful nations have found themselves vulnerable to state-sponsored hackers, espionage, ransomware, and disruption of critical infrastructure. The lines between the physical and digital world have been blurred, and in many ways the digital war is already underway. We are all in the crossfire. The evolution of cyber attacks in 2024 has reached a terrifying level of sophistication. Let's break down the most dangerous types of attacks we face today. In 2024, ransomware has become even more brutal than in previous years. Attackers lock down entire systems, holding critical data hostage until a hefty ransom is paid, usually in cryptocurrency. Imagine a healthcare system being compromised, where downtime could mean the difference between life and death. Hackers exploit these vulnerabilities to demand massive payouts, leaving essential services at their mercy. The Colonial Pipeline attack in 2021 was only a preview of what's possible. Today, the energy and healthcare sectors are prime targets, with attackers demanding multi-million-dollar ransoms. Even in 2024, human error remains the weakest link in cybersecurity. Hackers continue to use phishing attacks where fake emails, websites, or messages are crafted to trick individuals into revealing passwords or sensitive data. This isn't just a few stolen credentials. This is about gaining wide-scale system access. Social engineering, where attackers manipulate human emotions like urgency or fear, also continues to thrive, because no matter how advanced our tech becomes, the human element remains vulnerable. APTs are the silent killers in the cyber world. These are long-term, stealthy operations where attackers infiltrate a system and gradually collect sensitive data, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. It's like a spy entering a high-security facility and waiting for months or even years before making a move. Governments and corporations are frequent targets, with APT groups linked to countries like China and Russia, constantly probing for weaknesses in defense systems and intellectual property. A DDoS attack is like a digital riot. Imagine millions of devices bombarding a website or a system with data until it crashes. In 2024, DDoS attacks have surged, targeting government websites, financial institutions, and critical infrastructure providers. These attacks disrupt operations on a massive scale, often without breaking into systems directly. It's chaos at the click of a button, causing downtime and significant economic losses. The most terrifying attacks in 2024 are supply chain attacks. Hackers don't go after a target directly. Instead, they infiltrate third-party vendors or software providers to ride their access straight into their primary target system. The SolarWinds hack in 2020 was a prime example of this method, and it's only grown more common since. These attacks are so effective because they bypass normal defenses, sneaking in through trusted partners. The global cost of cybercrime in 2024 is projected to hit $10.5 trillion annually, a staggering figure that covers ransom payments, recovery efforts, lost business, and legal liabilities. It's not just large corporations that feel the hit. Small businesses are increasingly being crippled by these attacks. Think about the downtime for a company whose systems are taken down by ransomware. Every second offline means lost customers, revenue, and possibly even the company's reputation. Cyber attacks can bring entire nations to their knees by targeting critical services like power grids, water supplies, and transportation systems. Imagine a major city's power grid going down during rush hour. Traffic lights fail, subways stop, and chaos ensues. These disruptions lead to economic paralysis, widespread panic, and can even put lives at risk. The infamous WannaCry ransomware attack in 2017 demonstrated the potential for chaos, and since then, attacks on infrastructure have only increased in frequency and severity. Beyond the economic and technical damage, cyber attacks create fear and uncertainty. Misinformation spreads rapidly on social media, and when an attack happens, it's often hard to tell fact from fiction. This erodes public trust in governments and institutions. Imagine a scenario where a power outage occurs due to a cyber attack and false reports spread about an impending invasion or disaster. Panic sets in, and the chaos that follows could be far worse than the attack itself. Cyber warfare doesn't stay confined to the digital world. The consequences can escalate quickly, leading to military conflict. Imagine a nation's military communications being hacked during a standoff, leading to a misinterpretation or miscommunication. In a tense geopolitical environment, the result could be catastrophic. As we saw with Russia's invasion of Ukraine, cyber attacks are often used as a prelude to traditional warfare, destabilizing a nation's defenses before physical attacks begin. Governments and organizations need to invest heavily in cyber defense infrastructure. This includes everything from firewalls and encryption to regular security audits and vulnerability testing. Ensuring that critical infrastructure is protected should be a top priority. This might mean creating isolated networks for sensitive systems that aren't connected to the internet, or deploying advanced AI systems to detect threats before they can cause damage. No country can fight the cyber war alone. Global cooperation is essential to tracking down cybercriminals, sharing threat intelligence, and creating a unified front against state-sponsored cyber attacks. The NATO Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence, CCDCOE, is a good example of how alliances can bolster cyber defenses. Now, one of the biggest weaknesses in any system is human error. A recent report shows that less than 25% of these entities have cyber insurance or the expertise to defend against AI-enhanced threats. People need to be trained to recognize phishing attempts, use strong passwords, and follow best practices for digital security. A massive investment in cyber education for both the public and private sectors is necessary to reduce vulnerabilities. Tech giants like Microsoft and Google are investing in quantum computing and AI to counter these emerging threats. But as it stands, many countries are still playing catch-up. Without significant investment in education, infrastructure, and AI defenses, the gap between well-prepared nations and those left vulnerable continues to widen. The race between building stronger defenses and developing more sophisticated cyber weapons will only intensify. As AI and quantum technologies push the boundaries of what's possible in cyber warfare, the question remains, will we be ready? Cyber warfare is no longer a thing of the future, it's already here. The invisible battle in cyberspace is escalating every day, and as the world becomes more interconnected, the risks will only grow. We must act now, bolstering our defenses and working together to stop the next great cyber catastrophe. Because in this war, no one is safe, and the next target could be you. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and above all, stay prepared. If you found this video insightful, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to stay informed about the latest in global cybersecurity. Thanks for watching.